Namaste, and welcome to Tantra Yoga for Radical Affirmation. Awaken your radiant heart, peaceful mind, and vibrant body. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm glad you guys could come and partake in this yoga experience, Ashaya yoga. So Ananda, which means bliss, is our true nature. But because of our negative conditioning, we are blocked to it. Tantra says that we are actually cloaked to who we truly are. But deep underneath, we're already whole and complete, just as we are. We are lovable. We are worthy. We are divine. But it's all concealed behind this conditioning. And usually because of low self-esteem, we don't really recognize it. Yoga gives us access to this divine experience where we can gain a sense of health, gain a sense of healing, gain a sense of true radical affirmation. So what's radical about it? Well, we need to radically affirm that we are perfect just as we are. I call it we are perfectly imperfect just as we are. An acceptance that is so whole and complete that it encompasses the full spectrum of who we are. And who we are is shadow and light together. So yoga is the process by which we can hug in and embrace even our shortcomings and see them as opportunities to expand, that our problems seen through radical affirmation become possibilities. What we think are stumbling blocks turn into stepping stones to go higher. In fact, with this notion of radical affirmation, we affirm that everything in life is for our awakening. How could that be? There's so many challenges. There's so much pain and suffering in the world. How could that be for our awakening? Well, you're not left with the experience you have. Everybody has certain challenges and traumas and wounds in life. What really matters is the meaning that you assign to it. We are meaning-making machines. And really, yoga is the process by which we can transform and shift, or in psychology, they call it reframe the challenges to be there only when we're ready to rise up. The challenges never come to put us down. They come when we're ready for a promotion. And in that way, then, we start to see that everything in life actually is for our awakening, and that life has our back. So often, we say and feel like, oh, this keeps happening to me, life keeps happening to me. And when we feel like it's happening to us over and over again, it's a little bit of the victim role. There's no power in the victim. So what we want to do is say, life is happening for me. Or you could just be in the inquiry, how is this happening for me? What's my growth here? What's my process? And in that instant, you shift from victim consciousness to victory consciousness. And it's how we just rise up. So yoga as radical affirmation is learning how to say yes to life, yes with acceptance. The alternative is just to reject life and to resist the flow of life. And we know what that can feel like. Or to feel so unworthy that we never feel like we're enough as we are. That's one of my issues that I'm working through. This feeling of lack, this feeling of no matter what I do, it's never good enough. And of course, that comes from an overly perfectionistic father, but also overly perfectionistic culture. And when we're in this notion of trying to get perfect, we will never measure up. It's a self-defeating cycle. Because perfection says you will never be perfect enough, so then you get to be in unworthiness as a constant. And yoga is really here to say, no, that's really not true about you. You're already whole and complete. You are worthy. And you have everything you need already inside. You are well equipped. You are talented. And you have the favor of the divine to grow strong and to actually feel worthy to start living your dream. So let's take a comfortable seat and elevate your hips. So sit up on a meditation pillow, or I've got 2 blankets here. And then manually rotate your thighs inwardly, generate a low back curve, pull your tailbone in, and then join your index fingers and thumbs, palms down. Close your eyes and invite the light of the universe to fill you. And as you inhale, breathe in acceptance all the way down to your belly and up to the collarbones. when you exhale, let go of any stress, resistance, or overwhelm. Resistance, lack of acceptance, often takes the form of overwhelm. We just feel like we're carrying this heavy burden of life. We don't know where it's coming from. We don't know how to let it go. So take this opportunity now. When you exhale, keep your heart high. But then when you exhale, let your hips get heavy. Soften your skin. Relax. Come back into your heart now and acknowledge to yourself, accept yourself for exactly who and what you are. That you are perfectly imperfect. That you are the crystallization of the divine's desire to know itself. That you are worthy of love. You are lovable. And that you have everything inside that you need to make this your best day. Bring your palms together in front of your heart now, and let's connect our energies in this notion of radical affirmation to affirm all that's good in ourselves and all that's good in this life with the sound of Om. With deep acceptance, gently bow your head. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Namaste, welcome back. Let's start on all fours. Come on to hands and knees. Clear off your mat. We start in Brahmanasana, which is the Sanskrit for tabletop pose. And place your hands under your shoulders. Center of the wrist as wide as the outer shoulders, and the wrist creases straight ahead. And then with acceptance, claw your finger pads. Press the roots of your fingers down. So pads and roots go down and pull up from your hands into your heart. But then soften and melt the space between your shoulder blades. So your arms steady with acceptance, heart open and soft. Then take your inner thighs back, lift your sitting bones and arch. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, pull your tailbone down, look into your heart, round your back up. Inhale, fill yourself with the light of the universe. Exhale, bow with acceptance. And continue to follow your own breath rhythm, coordinating the movement with your breath. So what we find is acceptance involves a process of surrender. In acceptance, we get to step back from the experience and discern. We get to choose. Acceptance is a power of consciousness that we all have. But it takes a lot. You have to disentangle yourself first. So find your breath. Breathe in the flow of acceptance. And then come back to the center. Find neutral spine, thighs back, tailbone in. You have curve. And then you have length. Pull your ribs in. And then walk your knees back 3 inches. And stretch your hips back towards your heels. Continue to hug your muscles to the bones and lift your armpits up away from the floor. So try not to collapse your shoulders down, but soften between the heart. Acceptance makes us come deeper and closer into relationship with ourselves. It's how we weave ourselves more deeply into all aspects of ourselves. The word Tantra actually means to weave, like a loom, a weaver's loom. Then inhale, come up into downward facing dog pose. Alternately, bend one knee, press the opposite heel to the floor. Go back and forth, stretch the backs of your legs. So if you have tight calves and hamstrings like I typically do, it just gives you an opportunity to practice acceptance rather than the rejection of it is, oh, I'm too stiff to do yoga. How many people say that? So just be with wherever your tension is, accept it, be with it, and then breathe into it. And you'll find over time that through the practice of yoga, your body starts to loosen up. But it's not through force, and it's not through the rejection of your body. Only through acceptance does the heart truly open. And then, when your heart opens,
you have a glimpse of your true nature, which is joy and bliss, Ananda. Bend both knees, lift your sitting bones high up into the sky, low back curve. Pull up from your hands into your heart with acceptance. And then from your heart, push back down into your hands and push the base of your shins back. Find your full stretch and then deepen your breath. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Then bend your right knee and lift your right knee up and over. We call this the wild dog. Chamatkarasana, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then push back through the base of your left shin to increase the stretch. Exhale, big lunge forward. Good. And then lower your left knee to the floor. Bring your right hand on your right leg. Scissor your legs in with acceptance. And then lift your heart up toward the sky. And breathe. Acceptance gives you the strength, the power to see, gives you the vision so that you can choose to shift from victim consciousness, life is happening to me, to victory consciousness, life is happening for me. Radical affirmation. Come back to center. And now lift the back knee. Slowly bring your hands up onto your hips. Charge your legs with acceptance. Acceptance has a power to it. Square your hips to the front. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Start to arch back. Keeping your hips square, turn your heart slightly to the right, but turn your lower belly toward the left. And see if you can anchor so the heart goes to the right, the belly goes to the left, and you find the place in the middle as you arch back. And then hold the pose, bring your left hand to the back of your thigh, and push your left thigh up into your hand as you rise up more. This is an incredible stretch for the hips, and especially the left psoas muscle. And breathe. Left arm up. Now take your right hand back to the left thigh, twist. Turn your heart a little more to the right, but turn your belly even more to the left to keep your torso square. And curl back. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, sweep your arms out to the side. And touch. Go back to downward dog pose and breathe. You can come down into child's pose if you need to rest. And after a couple breaths, come back up. Inhale, lift your left leg up, hug to the middle. And then bend your left knee into the wild dog, or I call it wonder dog. And even as your left leg lifts up, try to keep both arm bones evenly lifted. Base of the right shin back. A couple more breaths here. And with acceptance, deep lunge forward. Very good. Right knee down. Left hand on the left leg. Squeeze your legs toward the middle and then twist. Acceptance is like a buoy. It helps us float. It helps us lift up out of the pain, out of the suffering. With acceptance, you can accomplish anything of lasting value. Come back to center and then lift your right knee. You'll also notice that acceptance is healing. There's almost no healing without that first layer to be able to accept what is. Then squeeze your legs, hug in with acceptance. Come hands to hips, square your hips to the front. Then inhale, stretch your arms up. Let your breath be slow and steady. Open to the bigger energy. The universe is in you, as you. Affirm that. It's like a radical affirmation. You're already whole and complete. You're already divine, but asleep to it. Then hug in as you wake up. Thighs back, tailbone in. And from your pelvic core, push through the right heel back and push through the left shin. That should bring you deeper into the pose. And then from your pelvis, rise up and be victorious. That's really what the warrior pose is all about. It takes a warrior to follow your heart. Bring your right hand to your back thigh and push your thigh up into your hand. Arch back a bit more. And then heart to the left, belly to the right.
Stabilize your hips square. Switch your arms. And this is the twisting version. That's a huge stretch for the right psoas muscle, which interacts with the low back. It's a good release of low back pain. One more deep breath in. And stretch your arm up. Exhale, release. Come back into plank. Hold strong. If you really don't have the strength to hold plank, you can bring your knees down. Take a little pressure off. Otherwise, thighs back, tail in. Arms super strong. Hug in with acceptance. But keep the heart open. Radically affirm the strength that you have. And then, stay with me, come to Chaturanga Dandasana without dropping your shoulders. So I want you to do Chaturanga using the middle back muscles, the rhomboid muscles. The head of the armlets have to lift up, parallel with the elbows. Thighs back, tailbone in, pull your navel up from the floor. And then exhale all the way down. Inhale, come up, cobra. And breathe. Let each breath soften resistance, soften that idea of rejection, soften the low self-esteem. If you're perfectionistic, you're probably overly critical, like I am. So we release the rough edge and let your heart blossom like a spring flower. Exhale, come down. Inhale, push back, downward dog pose. Lift your right leg up high, and then exhale, lunge. Come up, hands to hips. Turn your left foot square, and then bring your right forearm down to the right thigh, left hand on your hip for Parsvakonasana. Hug your legs. Move your thigh bones back, tail in, and then take your left arm up and over. So typically we just move the left arm over and it gets very crowded between your arm and your shoulder and your neck. So try this, bring your arm out to the side and then first pull the head of your arm bone way back into the back of the shoulder socket. Keeping that, then start to stretch your arm overhead while you externally rotate your arm until your thumb is up. Yep, palm will face behind you. And continue with acceptance to anchor your armpit back. Whenever your limbs come back into the core, there's freedom. And with freedom, there's joy. If you want to go deeper, bring your right hand down to eagle talons to the inside of the right foot and then squeeze leg onto elbow or arm and arm back onto the leg. Then from your pelvic core, radiate out with radical affirmation. Everything in life is for our awakening. Exhale, spin down to the floor. Go back to downward dog pose. Left leg up. Exhale, lunge forward. Come up, hands to hips. Spin your right foot square to the back edge. And then bend the left knee, left forearm on your thigh. And pause. Wait for the breath. Breathe the universe in the form of your breath. There's so much power there. And then with acceptance, hug in. Acceptance is a form of surrender where we accept what is as it is. Thighs back, tailbone in. Let's do the shoulder integration. So bring your right arm out to the side, armpit back, stretch. With your thumb up, a huge external rotation in the right shoulder. And then from your pelvic core, grow roots down through your feet, so connected to the earth with acceptance that you can radiate out and start to embrace challenge as an opportunity to enhance your life. And if you want to go deeper, reach your left hand down, eagle talons to the inside of the foot, and then squeeze your left knee against your left arm. Very deep stretch. Good for the hips. Exhale, spin down to the floor, come into plank, chaturanga. All the way down, inhale, cobra. This time, twist to the right. Look over your right shoulder and then go to salamander pose. So roll onto your left hip, crawl your right knee forward, Flex your left foot, push your left foot back into an imaginary wall and lean your left rib cage forward. You can walk your hands forward a little bit more if you want, or come down to your forearms. Good. Melt. Surrender your ribs toward the front edge of your mat while you push your left foot back. And exhale. Release. Inhale, cobra. Look to the left. Crawl your left knee forward. Roll onto the side of your right hip. Push your right foot back, right ribs forward. Keep your arm bones back, but surrender your ribs toward the front. That's where you're going to feel a stretch just under the lower right rib cage. And exhale down. Clasp your hands behind your back. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back. Lift your chest, lift your legs. Come up. Breathe and hold. Each breath, another affirmation. Imagine you could just say yes to your breath. Saying yes to your breath is saying yes to the life force, yes to the life, and yes to the whole universe. And then exhale down. Push back, downward facing dog pose. Now glide your right knee forward for pigeon. Hip square to the front, but keep your back toes curled under, heel perpendicular. We want to square the pelvis and keep the sacrum so it's level. Then tail in and fold. Keep your shoulders up. Root the pelvis down now and push back through the left big toe ball mound, forward through the right knee. Take a deep stretch. Then slowly come up. Walk your hands over to the left. Bend your left knee. Grab hold of your left foot, left hand, and bring your heel to your hip. If you can spin your hand, the thumb pivots down on the inner edge of your big toe while the elbow goes up. Root the base of your left knee down and drag it forward. You're going to get a much deeper quadricep stretch. With acceptance, pull in. Then root your tailbone down and stay with the stretch. If you want to go deeper, I call it bus stop yogi. You just get off at your stop. Then try right hand on the right knee. Rise up a bit more. Root down through your pelvis and deepen the stretch. Well done. Exhale. Release. Step back, downward dog. And glide your left knee forward. Left knee forward, hips square to the front. And curl your right toes under with your heel perpendicular. And then to keep your hips square, we have to move a little bit more. Right hip forward, left hip back. But try to do that without bowing your heel out to the right. So pull from the little toe ball mound to the outer heel. That creates a little boundary. And then you widen your right thigh to the right, left hip to the left, tail in, fold. Breathe into whatever you might be feeling in your right hip. Usually it's a little bit tight. With each exhalation, see if you can accept and let go more. We want to learn how to let go without collapsing totally. So bring your elbows out to the side and lift the head of the arm bones toward the ceiling so you can soften the upper back. And then slowly come up, walk your hands to the right, bend your right knee, hold your heel or hold your foot and bring your heel towards your hip more. Okay, as you start to feel the stretch, root through the base of the right thigh, drag it isometrically forward. And then if you want to try the shoulder position, hand position, bring your thumb to the inner edge of the big toe. The thumb pivots down while the elbow goes up. And then turn your heart toward the front, deep stretch. And here is one bus stop. Put your left hand on your left knee and then root the pelvis down as you rise up more. Be victorious. Rise up. And also, victorious is being able to accept, like if your body can't do this position, you're going to back it up and then accept that. You can rise up without needing to do the external perfection of every pose. You do the best you can, which is always enough, always good enough. Exhale and release. And step back. Downward facing dog pose. Plank. Chaturanga. All the way down. And bend your knees. Reach back for the tops of your feet for Dhanurasana, the bow. Now, if you can't reach your feet, grab yourself a belt and put the belt around your feet or ankles. And then walk your knees so they're hip distance apart. Turn your toes slightly outward to protect your knees and spread your toes. Notice how the shins will start to engage. Hug in with acceptance. Acceptance is like a healing balm that gives you exactly what you need. It nourishes you. Inner rotate your thighs, tailbone in, and now push your feet into your hands and come up. From your pelvic core, extend back through your knees. Make your femurs, those are the thigh bones, make those grow long. And then the shoulders go back, let the heart stay soft and receptive. Curl up even more. So press your head up, press your toes up. Very good. One more deep breath of radical affirmation. And exhale down. Beautiful. Press into your hands, come up. Grab yourself a belt and just have it ready by your side. And then lie on your back, bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. And enjoy the floor for a moment. Affirm the floor. That feels nice. Good. Lengthen your side ribs now and fill yourself with the breath of total acceptance. That you are whole and complete just as you are. You are worthy. You are lovable. And then head of the arm bones toward the floor. Bend your elbows now. Elbows in toward the ribs, palms parallel, fingers up. And then move your thigh bones back to generate a low back curve. Once your low back is just slightly off the floor, pull your tailbone in to add length. And then feet parallel, push through your feet, lift your hips into Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana, bridge pose. With acceptance, pull from your heels all the way up through your heart. The heart will lift into the palate. And then, even as your hips go higher, move your inner thighs toward the floor. So inner thighs toward the floor, hips higher. And now from your palate, root the head down into the earth. And from the upper palate, you're going to push straight out through your knees. Just grow your thigh bones. This feels so good. It works your glutes. And as you press the femurs away from you, it creates length in your low back. So there should be no pain in the low back. And breathe every breath infused with radical affirmation, with the yes of all that's life enhancing. And then exhale, lower your hips. Pause for a moment, enjoy the blissful effect. And then find your belt, bend your right knee in, put the belt around your right foot, hold both ends of the belt, one in each hand, and stretch your right leg up. Now generate a low back curve. So just try this. If you pull your leg all the way in toward you, you will not be able to get your hand to slide under your back. Okay, that puts too much pressure on the disc. It's really not good over time. You can actually get like a bulging disc. So bring your thigh back. Yes, take your right thigh back until you can put your hand under your back. There's the low back curve. You're going to keep that. And then just pull on the belt as much as you want, as long as you keep the low back curve. And focus on the stretch. Push up from your pelvis straight up through the right heel. Big hamstring stretch, big calf stretch. Now stretch your left leg out on the floor, flex your foot,
and root the left thigh, back of the thigh, all the way down to the earth. So both legs go back, but the right thigh pushes back into the back of the leg. Your left thigh should go toward the floor. And as long as you keep the curve, continue to pressurize the belt. Breathe the softness of acceptance into the stretch, even as you hold firm. And then bring your foot a little closer to your head, but keep the low back curved, work your thighs back, and exhale, release, switch. This feels so good. Okay, belt around the left foot, right knee is bent. And here we go. Create a low back curve. All right, you have to generate it. So take your thighs back. If still your low back doesn't lift up, then just arch, lift your low back. You have to shift the pelvis. It's called the anterior pelvic tilt. So the sitting bones roll toward the floor. Now keep the curve and pull on the belt to give yourself as much stretch as blissfully possible. There's a term. And now breathe the healing balm of acceptance into the back of the leg. It's okay that you have hamstring muscles. Everybody's got them, and on everyone they're tight. It's a sign that you're alive, so embrace it. See how I just affirmed tight hamstrings? The rejection would be, oh, these damn hamstrings, way too tight. I'm not cut out for yoga, I quit. Okay. So let that go and affirm you are whole and complete just as you are, perfectly imperfect. Now stretch your right leg out, root the right thigh to the floor. Keep your low back curve, root your left thigh back deep into the thigh, and just enjoy the stretch. This is terrific. Now take the inner edges of both thighs back more, and then the outer edge, outer left hip crease goes back as well. That will enhance the stretch. One last big stretch, and exhale. Release. Still on your back, we have one more. Bring your arms into cactus pose, where the back of the elbows, back of the hands are on the floor, elbows perpendicular to your body. And just pull in from your fingertips to your shoulders and see if you can get the back of your shoulder blades to hug toward the middle of the spine, and then shoulder blades toward the floor. Separate your feet wider than the hips, and then windshield wiper your knees first down to the left, then inhale, come up, windshield wiper to the right, inhale up, go to the left. Do this a few times, just in a very relaxed way, but don't move your shoulders. Breathe. This opens the hips. It actually releases any tension in the spine from our back bends. And then knees to the left. Okay, hold. And place the bottom, the sole of your left foot, the bottom of your foot on the top of the right quadricep muscle. So it's not ankle on knee. It's bottom of foot on your thigh. And then you can push your right knee against the bottom of the left foot and push your left foot into your knee. With acceptance, again, we create a kind of conscious resistance. That is going to stretch the psoas muscle. Inner rotate your right hip, draw your tail in, and then grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand. And even as you work your legs, crescent arc to the right. Twist to the right. Take full deep breaths. Bring your right shoulder blade more in contact with the floor. Push a little more with acceptance, right knee to the left foot. Acceptance is a power of consciousness we all have to release our criticism, to release resistance, to release rejection of the moment. We reject it because maybe we have the moment that we're trying to change, but it won't change. Or we have something that we don't want to change, but it is changing from us. Almost all rejection and resistance is because life is moving on, but you don't want it to. So that's when we have to practice. Let go and let grace. Inhale, come back to center. Such a good stretch. Okay, readjust your hips, separate your feet. And now, knees to the right. Sole of the right foot on the top of the left quadricep muscle. And then push left knee to foot. Inner rotate your left hip, tail in. And then take your right wrist and crescent left. And breathe. So much going on in this pose. So when you push your foot against your thigh and push your knee up into your foot, you start to activate all the inner rotators on your left side, your left hip. It also engages psoas, hip flexor. Then pull your tailbone in and push from your pelvis straight down to the left knee. And as you elongate, twist left and crescent arc. Just pull your right wrist overhead toward the left. And breathe. So we got to stretch in the upper body, stretch in the lower body. I always like to say, as above, so as below. And it's the so as stretch. Good. Affirm that your body is opening, becoming stronger and more flexible. Inhale, come up, release. Take a big breath, sigh it out. And then with knees apart, hold your knees with your hands and draw in, knees to chest. But now instead of smashing the low back down into the floor, push your knees away from you a little. Inner rotate your thighs until you can leverage a low back curve. Once you get the curve, then pull your knees in towards you, but hollow your groins away from you. That is the secret to getting this knees to chest pose, very common pose, Pavanamuktasana, to activate the inner rotators and to release even deeper hip tension and low back tension without compressing the vertebrae. Okay, exhale, release. Come into Savasana. Final relaxation. Stretch your legs. Arms by your sides, palms up. Be in a complete position of total receptivity and acceptance. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and when you exhale, relax. Allow your muscles to melt away from the bones. And then let your bones descend into the earth. Even allow your organs to descend with gravity to the back side of your body. Acceptance is the agreement to let go. Our capacity to release what no longer serves us. So let go of rejection. Let go of resistance. And allow yourself to attune to the flow of your breath. Acceptance brings us into the flow of life, into the center of the current of grace that makes everything work out for our highest good. And with deep acceptance now, resistance-free, you come to recognize that everything in life is for our awakening. How could it be designed in any other way? So receive and then let go of even acceptance. And like a leaf carried downstream, let your whole body flow effortlessly in the current of surrender.
the depth of your relaxation, become aware. Imagine the universal light of acceptance descends and forms a dome of golden light all around your body. And from this dome of light, acceptance showers down upon you and pours into your cells, such that every fiber of your being is infused with the power of acceptance and the radical affirmation that you are good, that life, in fact, has your back. And then slowly begin to return. Move your fingers and toes. Bend your knees. Come roll to the right side. And when you're ready, come back up to a seated position, and you can sit on your blankets again or meditation pillow. And we'll sit together for a minute or two. Sit well, spine long. Join your index fingers and thumbs, palms down. Take some deep breaths, and with your eyes closed, become aware of how your body feels now differently than when you started. Allow your skin to soften. Release all expression on your face. In fact, let your face shine with the glow of acceptance. See if you can return to what's known as your original face. It's the face that's behind the masks, the facade, the conditioning. The true, pure, authentic self that is you. And as you let that light of acceptance shine, take in this flurry of positive, radical affirmations. May I soften and offer my open heart to this very moment that is being birthed now. May I soften, allowing myself to take off my heavy weighted armor of protection, that I may love and receive love. And may I open my heart to see the wonders of this universe that is loving and blessing me, regardless of the situation I may find myself in. And may I open my heart to the love and beauty that is me and is all around me. May I allow myself to be so quiet that I can hear and receive the wisdom of the trees, the mountains, the ocean, the animals, and street lamp. May I recognize that everything is alive and everything is for my awakening. I am a positive person who attracts positive things into my life. I am well equipped to handle this situation effectively. This situation will pass, so I choose to deal with it calmly. I trust my intuition, and I'm always guided to make wise decisions. Life is always happening for me, never to me. And I am divinely guided and always going in the best direction. My inner peace is my power. My heart radiance is my power. My vibrant body is my power. Today and every day, I choose joy. Taking these affirmations into your heart now, let them seep in to the very cells of your being. And then bring your palms together in front of the heart. It's like placing your heart in front of your heart. May we receive the blessing and the gift of life and know that yoga makes this gift a deeper blessing. Take a deep breath now and chant Om. Om. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Hey, if you enjoyed this experience, please share it. Please share it with all your friends on YouTube. And I hope to see you around. Come join my membership course. You can click on the link below to find out more about it. And I look forward to seeing you. Again, I plan to be doing this live free workshop every so often, probably once a month, but maybe more. So take care and thank you.